with pit bull overpopulation, especially in the cities. I work at a city shelter. It's an open door shelter, so we do take in animals that are owner surrenders, animals that are stray, and we also have the city contract for animal control. So at any given time, 70-75% of our population in the shelter is pit or pit mix.
The shelters that I have experience with, especially in urban areas, it's typical for 40 to 50% of the dogs in a shelter at any given time are pit bulls and pit bull mixes. I know here at the Animal Rescue League, 40% of the stray dogs that we receive are pit bulls or pit bull mixes, and about 38% of owner relinquished dogs are pits or pit mixes. So we're dealing with, we deal with almost 1,000 pit bulls a year just here at our shelter.
On any given day, at least half the dogs on the adoption floor are pit bulls, and it's a tremendous marketing problem because people come in and they say, you hear them look at each other and say all they have is pit bulls, and they turn around and walk back out.
I have no words that can describe the magnitude of the overpopulation problem. Being at the shelter, you see it every day. I don't even know if I have a good description for it. It's so pervasive. It is just, I would assume that about 70% of our population, our dog population at the shelter, at any given time is pit or pit mix.
I think right now in this country, it's an epidemic. I mean, we have such an overpopulation problem and so few homes, and not really a strong proactive movement to deal with it. So I would definitely say it's epidemic proportions.
I've been at the city shelter for 4 years, and I still hear time and time again, all you have are pit bulls. I'm afraid of pit bulls. And it's a very entrenched stereotype. The reputation is so poor, and that reputation has really reached the masses that it is a difficult thing to overcome. And oftentimes you'll see shelter workers sort of buy into that stereotype and tell adopters, yeah, we do have a lot of pit bulls, but you know, we have a lab back there. You want to look at that? They don't try and overcome the issue because it is so great.
I think that the way that the media depicts pit bulls is probably one of the biggest components of this epidemic issue that we have with them.
Most of the general public doesn't want pit bulls. They have a lot of misconceptions about the breed.
The media has done an excellent job, an effective job at cultivating the image of the bloodthirsty people killer.
There's a huge problem with rap music in that it desensitizes young men and young women to what's right and what's wrong. It's not just pit bulls in that facet of media. It's women, it's drugs, it's guns, it's violence, and it seems like now pit bulls are just sort of an accessory to everything else that's wrong with that picture.
You don't generally see a story when a Labrador bites a child. I don't think I've seen anything of that nature on the news for quite some time, but you will see it if it's a pit bull or what somebody thinks is a pit bull, which could actually be a boxer or a mastiff or something with a large head. And most of what I've seen in the media that pertains to pit bulls is so highly inaccurate. It's misinformation, and the sad part is that I've actually seen people in the animal welfare community and the animal rights community give misinformation to the general public about pit bulls.
You hear a lot of attacks where, you know, they'll say a pit bull dog attacked, you know, this other dog or attacked a child, and then a couple weeks later we find out it wasn't a pit bull at all, it was a totally different breed, not a bully breed, but you never hear that come back into the story.
Otherwise, dog-savvy individuals take that media image of the pit bull to heart. They come into the shelter, they see the large population of pit bulls that we have, and they get nervous. They're worried about working with these dogs. Am I going to be hurt? When we take them through the training program, it is such a comprehensive training program that they begin to feel comfortable with the dogs in general, with the shelter in general. They meet a few of the pit bulls, realize what a pit bull truly is, and you can just see their minds turning. And they start to realize that media-cultivated image is a hoax. It's something made up to get high ratings on the evening news, to scare people. Scare tactics are a great way to get people to watch your news coverage.
The original purpose of the American Pit Bull Terriers was dog fighting, but they were also kept in the home as the family pet.
The history of pit bulls is sort of a slice of Americana. They really are intertwined with the American family since the turn of last century. You can see them in old-time photographs. You can see them in old-time movies and television shows. There are many popular pit bulls. Petey from our gang, the RCA dog, war heroes. They're everywhere. They used to be the family dog. They used to be the children's protector.
Actually, in England, the Staffordshire Terriers are called the nanny dogs, and it's because they just have such a wonderful disposition around children. They have a very even temperament. And I've heard people, and I saw this with my first pit bull, Canada, he was almost more docile around smaller people. So it was like he just had this sense that he had to control his size. You know, they're just really sweet dogs, and they are so gentle, and they love people, and they're connected to people.
The term wiggle butt is used because pit bulls are so happy to interact with people that when they wag their tails, their entire back end sways from side to side. They're just so happy to see people, and that is a true pit bull. If you see that, you know that is a well-tempered, well-behaved, true pit bull.
5 words to describe pit bulls: loyal, smart, loving, affectionate, and tenacious.
We do have many wonderful pit bulls at our shelter. Very highly adoptable, loving animals, great companions. I took one home. A lot of people I know have taken one home, and it'll be the best companion you ever have. Once you have a pit bull, you won't go back. That's it. I have heard it time and time again. I never thought about adopting a pit bull. I was a little worried. You introduced me to a really wonderful dog. My dog unfortunately passed away. I'm looking for another pit bull. You hear it time and time again. People that invite them into their homes will come back and adopt another pit bull. That is how wonderful they are as companion animals.